Hi, my name is Maissa Lihedheb. I'm a filmmaker in Berlin. I grew up in West Germany and moved to Berlin 6 years ago. And as a filmmaker could mean so many things. I think it includes writing films or being a film producer or an editor. I think this all falls under filmmaker, and I usually say filmmaker because I feel like I do a lot of things in this field, but specifically I'm a director, and this is what I want to pursue, and this is my main goal, profession basically. I think the reason why I wanted to be a filmmaker, there was a lot of different reasons for it. I grew up as a child reading a lot of books and escaping into other worlds by watching movies, TV and read. And I started writing small short stories also as a form of escaping. And I remember I know that I always wanted to go into that field, but I did not know where I would fit in. I always thought I wanted to be an actress till with 16 I realized I don't see other actors that look like me in Germany. So that was pretty much the reason where I was okay, I don't think I can be an actor. It was very unrealistic. But I also did not think I could be a filmmaker or film director or writer. This was also something that was a bit far away. But I think I was positive enough to think that at least if I will ever become a filmmaker, at least then I can write stories for people that look like me or look like other marginalized people in our country, and then therefore I can empower other people to become actresses, and they will actually feel oh, there is a role for me. So basically it started, I want to become an actress, and I want to become a filmmaker so people can actually act for roles that I would write for them in the future. So to at least have this world, have our world be visible on screen. That was basically one of the reasons why I wanted to make film. So I still struggle with the belief that Germany can come at this point or get to this point where more people would want to hire people like us or hire actors that are of color. But I feel step by step with the few writers of color that we have in Germany, I hope that is possible. I feel okay, for instance in the States or maybe even in France, I feel everyone can think of an actor of color, there's a name. And I feel in Germany there's not a name that would come up in my mind oh, this like a known name, someone who's basically in the mainstream. It's not really common. And so we have people of color on screen, because there are some. It's usually very stereotyped. It's usually very one-dimensional till this day, even though this is such a vibrant topic that everyone's talking about, diversity in front of the screen. And that's great. It's important to have diversity on screen, but if you don't have the diversity behind the scenes, it's really hard to write a more dimensional character. It's if a white person keeps writing about how stories as an Arab in Germany, it's usually it's we all know what these stories are, and it's usually a mafia story. It's a mafia narrative, which is kind of to be fair, in my opinion, really boring. It's always the same. It's always the mafia guys don't even have a character. They're basically just defined by the story. So I think in order to really have more of this a representation of actors that are more dimensional, that are not stereotyped constantly, we definitely have to really focus on getting more writers and directors behind the scene. And I think Germany still lacks this conversation. It's still only about what we see on screen, but the most important thing is what happens behind it. I see other people in other countries that had to fight for their role in society, and I see that people had to fight to be an established filmmaker in other countries that are predominantly white. And I, for some reason, knew that I and other filmmakers can at some point reach that same position. And I'm not gonna give up just because everyone keeps telling me I can't enter the store. And I'm ready to break any door to get through. Mostly to really inspire other people to also keep making their position in the society clear. We are not just we're not limited to one profession or limited to one character. Basically, like, we are allowed to dream big, and we are allowed to enter these elitist circles that tell us that never let us have a space. And I think it's time for us, and this is what I'm seeing a lot also in the Berlin like creative community, or in Germany with people of color. It's like we are fighting to get up there together, and we kind of creating our own table. It's not like we don't want to sit with them, but we want to create a whole new industry, and like an industry that is so diverse and that helps other people to get up as well. And like I see that with so many directors that are now established, like of color. Like one of my biggest inspirations is Mia Spengler, this filmmaker, German filmmaker of color. And like what I love about her is like she is an established director, but she is trying so hard to open the doors for other people that usually don't have access to the industry. And she's really like trying to get everyone up with her, and this is exactly what we need, because if we, or like one person of color, makes it up, should be able to open the doors for everyone else, because we have to rely on each other now and rely on our community. And that's why I'm not gonna give up. Like I feel like we just at the brink of like a creative revolution, like so close. And I think Germany's realizing that like internationally they can't compete anymore, because their stories they are always the same. It's always the same white people on screen, the same white directors and stories. And I think Germany realizes that they need our stories soon, and they need us as creatives soon to like really grow in that field. And I think we're so close. We're so close. And I see that, I see that also in our community. There's so many people that have so much talent, and I just know they're gonna have like their big break and the door opening finally for them. So I can't wait for that.